finally an upset in either men's or women's basketball at the D1 level has occurred. This is on the men's side to begin with. Number 4 Alabama loses to number 15 Gonzaga 190. Neither team had a defense to save their lives. And I'm going to break it down to you on the stats like I do in the James War. First of all, defense wins championships. Both of these teams defensively need of work. Some work going forward. Gonzaga had 47 points in the first half, 42 for Alabama in the first half. While second half, Gonzaga had 53, while Alabama had 48. It doesn't help that you lost the first half by 5 points and then lose the same thing in the second half, or even tie it. You have to get 5 more points than Gonzaga, at least to force overtime. But there's more than just scoring that occurred in this game. Alabama shot the ball well, 31 for 60, 51.7% to be exact. 8 for 25 on threes. That needs to go up. 24-24 on free throws, which is 83.3%. That's pretty good. 37 rebounds, 9 of those offensive. 11 assists. That needs to go up. 3 steals, 3 blocks, but 21 turnovers. Just imagine all those points on turnovers. 19 fouls, and they had 16 bench points. But I tell you something, Gonzaga only had 14, 16, 19 points off the bench, so they won the bench battle. 16 for Alabama, while Gonzaga had 14, 16, 19. That's part of the reason. But Alabama couldn't play defense for their lives. 40 for 70 for Gonzaga on field goals made compared to attempted. 57.1%. 7 for 17 on threes, which is 41.2%. They made a high percentage of them, though they didn't attempt as nearly. But it clearly shows they went to the inside the 3-point line, even to the paint to score, and they won that battle. It looks potentially they did. 13 for 19 on free throws. That needs to improve Gonzaga going forward. 30 rebounds. You got out-rebounded in the game. Only 6 of them offensive, and yet you won. 16 assists. 12 steals. They only had 1 block, which is not good compared to Alabama with 3. 9 turnovers. When you take care of the ball and turn the ball over 10 times or less, you're bound to win games. You want a turnover margin. 24 fouls, though. That's pretty bad. The starting 5 for Gonzaga were in double digits. But the problem is, Alabama only had 2 guys that combined for 54 points, including one of them for 36. You got to have more players step up than just 2 or 1 player with a breakout game, Alabama. This is much needed for Gonzaga here. Because, let's face it, the West Coast Conference is a joke, with the exception to St. Mary's. That's the only other team that could make the NCAA tournament this year. Unless all the other teams step up and get good wins and everything. Now, going forward for Alabama, these next 4 games. They got Jackson State. They're 1-9. They should win that one in theory. But they had to go on the road to number 17, Mississippi State. That's not going to be easy. Especially it's the first game in the ICC. You got Ole Miss at home. That's 7-3, which, those records can be deceiving. And one other game to include, they're hosting number 13 Kentucky. So, it's not, and even a game after that is not even easy either. Number 10 Arkansas. So, they do have somewhat of a difficult stretch in the next 3 out of 5 games, if you want to include that one. Gonzaga, of course, they don't have any more ranked opponents left on their schedule, potentially for the rest of the year. And they lost to every ranked team out there. All these three losses for Gonzaga were ranked teams, just like Alabama's too. I mean, Gonzaga lost to Baylor. They lost to Texas pretty handily. They lost to Purdue by 18 points. So this was definitely needed for their mental standpoint that, hey, we are a legit team and a top 15. Okay, and they finally got a ranked win. But that doesn't help that they're 1-3 in ranked opponents, though, on their NCAA tournament resume, which I know it's way too early to talk about, but I'm just saying. The next 4 games or 5 games include Montana, that's 5-5. They should win that game in theory. They're in the Big Sky. And they must have some type of, either a Division 2 opponent or something, because they got Eastern Oregon, which they should win that game in theory. Next 2 games, they shouldn't worry. A Pepperdine team that's 5-4. They better not lose to any West Coast Conference teams other than St. Mary's. That's even if they lose, if they do even lose to St. Mary's, because that would damage their resume for the NCAA tournament. They got San Francisco, that's 8-3. They're not considered to be NCAA tournament as of right now, but it's way too early. On the road, as well as on the road against Santa Clara, which they're 10-3, but some of these records for these teams are deceiving because of strength of schedule. And one more game to include. Actually, I just included 5 games, so yeah. No need to mention one other game. Though the following game after Santa Clara is BYU at BYU, which they did knock off a top 25 team, remember. They did. Somewhat recently. Not this week, but against number 21 Creighton. But Creighton now is 6-6, so it's not really that great of a win. But I'm just saying. Anyways, if you like this content, hit the like and subscribe button. I see you guys later. Now it's on the road to 500 subscribers now. Let's go.